to continue our countdown to kickoff, we continue sticking in the NFC West. The Los Angeles Rams are the team that we preview today. This is a tough one to preview, Sam, or to kind of like figure out how to bet. I mean, maybe you tell me if you disagree, but it all hinges on Matthew Stafford for me. And yes, he's been back at practice for a couple days. No, I do not believe that he is fully healthy right now. I do not believe that if he were hit by a 300-pound lineman, that he would be able to get up off the ground and not re-aggravate that back. Like, he has a disc in his back that has just, he even said it wasn't just one single incident that caused this back injury. It's just kind of like things building up over time, which sounds like, I mean, it sounds like an old man. He's older for a quarterback, been through a lot in his career, getting hit a lot, but I'm not confident that Matthew Stafford's making it through an entire season or even going to be out there week one.
And we look at what's happened in the last 5 to 10 years. You've had some older quarterbacks push through a lot. Now, Brady didn't have the injuries like that in his later 30s, upper 40s. He was always a weirdo with the fitness and the avocado smoothies and all that. So he's always been able to, or was able to, avoid these injuries later in his career. But Peyton Manning with the neck injury, he was supposed to be done at the end of his Colts regime. He goes to Denver, wins a Super Bowl, has success. Drew Brees had many, many injuries, especially to that throwing shoulder. He still plays well into his 40s. You've seen these older quarterbacks do it, and I think unfairly the media thinks, oh, well, Stafford will do it because Brady did it and Manning did it and Brees did it, and that's not entirely fair. I did a Matthew Stafford deep dive yesterday on the way back from New York, and
because you had a 4-hour train ride.
Exactly. So the reports are suggesting that Stafford is going to need multiple epidural injections to manage his disc herniation. Say all that 8 times fast. And those epidural injections cause a bunch of pain. So you have that on top of the concussion stuff. I mean, he's had those over the last handful of years. There was a game, whether it was last year or the year before, where he got absolutely cracked under the helmet. And the cameraman on the game caught him with his eyes rolling back in his head. And you're like, that's not good. So he's had multiple issues. He's had an elbow, he's had an arm, he's had concussions. Now it's the back. And this is not something that's going to get better. I mean, a back doesn't get better, especially when you're playing quarterback in the NFL. And we've talked about this a couple times this week. We did it on Monday. I think we did it on Wednesday. It's fine to have him out there with the red jersey on and zipping spirals and, oh, look at Stafford. He looks so good. They're not even breathing on him. Forget the contact. Forget cracking him. Forget trying to pull him down. The Rams aren't even going near him. So he's in these 7-on-7 drills, in these very easy offensive drills where the Rams have no interest in putting pressure on him and on driving him to the ground. What's going to stop other teams? I don't want to say bounty gate like the Saints used to do, but what's going to stop other teams from hitting him after the whistle or hitting him well after he lets go of the ball? This is a wounded deer right now. And you notice that the sports books across the country have pulled down the Matthew Stafford props. There's nothing on season yards. There's nothing on season touchdowns. But we have to take the word of the Rams and Sean McVay that he's going to be just fine. Be careful with all that. This was a team last year that our show, Bet Sweats, was very, very down on. And they got hot. They got on a run. They got in the playoffs and actually did pretty well in the playoffs. But that defense overachieved. That offense somehow stayed upright with issues. I mean, Cooper Kupp was banged up. Stafford was banged up. They trudged through and they got through. But it was a very easy schedule. And I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. And I think the Rams are due for some regression this year.
You would imagine also, Sam, like week one, if Matthew Stafford does play, think about who they're playing. The Houston Texans. You have Danielle Hunter. You have Will Anderson coming at you. Yeah, to your point, like those guys aren't going to come and purposely try and hurt them. But they're not going to go 80%. They're not going to go 60% in order to protect Matthew Stafford. So I'm not confident that he's won back week 1. I'm not confident he makes it through the season. Back injuries, I mean, playing through a shoulder injury, that's tough enough, but plenty of players have done it. But back injuries are an entirely different thing because a shoulder injury, your legs are still moving the same way, right? You're still able to scramble. You're still able to be as agile. Back injury, all that stuff goes away. And so this is a big deal for the Rams, and I think they're downplaying a little bit by having him out at practice. I mean, Wednesday's practice was a jog through that he was a part of. That's not instilling any confidence in me yet. However, Sam, the Rams are still plus 175 to win the NFC West. Second shortest odds behind the 49ers, obviously, who we talked about yesterday. Are the Arizona Cardinals and Seahawks that bad where the gap between the Rams with a extremely questionable Matthew Stafford at plus 175 to Arizona at plus 450, is that gap reasonable considering what's going on with Stafford right now?
As of now, I guess it is. But if they come out and say Stafford's going to miss 3 weeks, you'll see people come in and bet the Cardinals and they'll bet the Seahawks. So if you're looking to make a move, you sort of have to do it before any big announcement. The issue is San Francisco is so good and San Francisco's schedule is so easy, as we talked about yesterday. Yeah. I think it's their division in a handbasket. Like I don't want to count my money already, but I think the Niners are winning this division, and I don't think it's going to be close. So that's built into it. You also have this big-time respect for Sean McVay because he has done it with backup quarterbacks. He's done it with a guy like Baker Mayfield. There's this belief that there's not a big drop-off between Stafford and Jimmy Garoppolo, which I disagree with big time. But that's what happens when the Rams have been able to navigate a lot of issues over the years under McVay. So Adam Grossbard covers the team for the LA Daily News, and he had a quote yesterday about Stafford. So here's the summary of the tweet. Stafford said he started to feel back discomfort over the summer. He declined to say whether or not he's managing discomfort. I think we all know he's managing discomfort. And then on week 1, he declined to say whether he's going to play with the quote, I feel pretty good the last couple days. I just don't believe it. And I'm sorry if you're tired of hearing about Stafford and his back and the health, but you can't talk about the Rams and do a countdown to kickoff without discussing it. It's the elephant in the room, and we're not going to know until he's actually out there taking real snaps in a real game against a real team.
I feel pretty good is not, I can play in the NFL and be just fine and not be a liability to my team. I feel pretty good is code for, I feel awful right now, but I'm going to be out there. That way the noise doesn't get even louder. The question now, Sam, is if Stafford doesn't go this year, can the Rams go over their win total of 9.5 games? Can they win 10 games with Jimmy Garoppolo? Minus 145 to the over right now. So that's pretty bold. And again, these numbers are probably still with Stafford in because he has not been ruled out. We aren't saying that it's been reported that he's ruled out at all. We're just speculating based on the reports of his back and what we've seen, that I wouldn't be shocked if we see Jimmy Garoppolo play quite a bit this season, which in that case, yeah, Sean McVay has done some really good things with some backup quarterbacks. He's one of the best offensive minds in the game. 10 wins with Jimmy Garoppolo, that doesn't feel doable to me.
Could they? Yes. I hate to be an absolutist. Will they? I have many doubts. And to look at the schedule and just how strong it is. So we mentioned San Francisco has the easiest schedule per multiple outlets. So San Francisco is 1 of 32 in terms of toughness. LA Rams are 20. So that is not a schedule that's going to be easy. So if you don't have your quarterback near tip-top shape and your defense that played really well up front but had some issues in the secondary, you face better teams and better quarterbacks, it's a lot more difficult to mask some of those deficiencies. So I look at their numbers coming in. You mentioned the win total 9.5. I get plus money under. I lean there, not betting them to win the West, shy of 2-1. I have no interest in NFC at 9-1, and I'm definitely not betting Super Bowl at 20-1, give or take. I'm just not buying any Ram stock because I I don't believe that this is something that's going to be okay for 17 regular season weeks. I have a bunch of concerns. And if they have to go to Jimmy Garoppolo, the entire calculus changes. I think Stafford's a Hall of Famer. And we're just going to say that, oh, well, the drop-off isn't that big from Stafford to Garoppolo. Give me a break. This guy won a Super Bowl. This guy has orchestrated some of the most electric offenses of the last 5 years. To think that him not being out there is a huge deal. I mean, I know we know it's a deal, but I don't think people realize how much of a drop-off there is. I think the market is way wrong. They're saying it's only like a 4-point drop-off.
No.
I'm way higher than that. I'm way higher than 4 points.
Sam, there's a reason that Jimmy Garoppolo went from earning around $26 million a year to $3 million this year. That's a significant drop off right there. Going from being a starting quarterback in the NFL, making that type of money, to $3 million a year as a backup. I'm not buying that at all. Okay, so now we've kind of speculated if Stafford is not on the field this year. What if he is? What if he is fully healthy this year? 20-1 to win the Super Bowl, 9-1 to win the NFC as a whole. If Stafford is fully healthy, I think this is a team capable of it. You have the wide receivers, you have the running back, you have an improved offensive line, you brought over a new center. The defense, I love Jared Verse, who I'm going to throw your way in a second for Defensive Player of the Year and get your thoughts. But like, if Stafford miraculously turns things around in the next 2 weeks and is fully healthy, ready to go, no restrictions, can this team win the Super Bowl?
They could, of course, because he's one of 3 quarterbacks to do it since Brady retired. I mean, it's silly to say that they can't. I just don't believe that they will. So I'm not doing it, but there are people all over Twitter that are saying this is a hoax and this is a smokescreen and this is the greatest
and that
trick
Matthew
that Sean
Stafford
McVay
died years ago. This is a clone of Stafford.
That would that's a different conversation, but that is a great hashtag. I know Jake's been all over that one, but some people think that McVay is rug pulling and McVay is sort of smoke screening and he's trying to pull this trick and that Stafford's just fine. I don't believe that. But of course, if he's out there playing at a high level, they could be dangerous. They could make a run. I'm just not betting it myself. So there will be people out there that agree with me. There will be other people that think that I'm dumb and think that Stafford's fine. The best part about this, you could belly up and bet your own money. If you believe in the Rams, go for it. I don't. Rams money will not come from me. I will not bet them to win the conference, not to win the Super Bowl, and I lean under. Even if he's healthy, I think there's enough regression on that defense and a lot more toughness with that schedule. You know, their defense played above water last year, and their D-line is great. And their ability to get to the quarterback is awesome with guys like Fiske and Colby Turner and Jared Verse. But I think that secondary is very problematic, and there's a lot of Band-Aids at corner and safety. So if that D-line and that pass rush can't get through against better teams, it'll be easier for opposing passing attacks to move the ball down the field. So I'm selling stock, if you can't tell. I am not in on the Rams.